Hello everyone, welcome back to our educational program of Linoleum Animation Festival. So today we are going to have our last presentation, and this presentation will be held by a famous Belgian animator and director, Britt Raes. She's going to share with us her story of creating her first professional short called Catherine. Actually, this short took part in our competition program a couple of years ago, and it was a huge success all over the world, having participated in almost 200 festivals and winning around 50 awards. So Britt, you're very welcome to start your speech right now.
All right. Hello. Thank you. Everything's working. Yep. Okay, cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining the presentation. It's a bit scary to do this because you don't have an audience. So I hope that people are listening. And in case you have any questions, there's this live chat and you can ask questions. And afterwards, we will get to those questions. So my name is Britt, and I'm an animator and a director and illustrator from Belgium. I'm currently 33 years old, and as a kid, I loved to draw and do lots of arts and crafts, but I was never allowed to do any art school, like evening classes or weekend classes. So I was only 17 when I actually started doing anything, really studying drawing. When I was 17, I graduated with a mathematics and science degree, because my mom really wanted me to have like a proper degree. And after that, I was free to do what I wanted. So at first, I did a professional bachelor in graphic design and illustration. And that was actually the first time that I had any kind of model drawing, and I learned the basics about Photoshop, and it was a whole new world for me because I'd only done like arts and craft with toilet rolls and just cardboard pieces and just my little pencils and crayons at home, but nothing like real materials or model drawing or nothing like that. And that was a study of 3 years, which for me, it was really nice to get to know the basics, but I wasn't on a level that I could actually be able to work in the creative industry and really be able to I just creatively wasn't as developed as I would have wanted to. And so that's why I decided to go and study something else, which turned out to be animation. And for me, animation was perfect because it's a study where you don't really have to choose what you want to do, because you can do everything. You do storytelling, you do character design, you do drawing, you do editing, you have to think about music, you have to think about the sound. And if you want to paint, you can. If you want to do play with clay, everything's possible. And for me, having sometimes difficulties to choose things, it was the perfect it was the perfect study to be able to explore a lot of different directions. And during my studies, I also discovered that just a little bit, that what I wanted to do most was be a director, because I was interested in everything. When I was doing my studies, at the same time, I had the opportunity to go and do an internship. I did an internship at this animation studio in Ghent. It's called Creative Conspiracy. And I was able to go there just because I contacted them. I sent letters to all the animation companies I could find in Belgium. And I told them I can't do anything, but I want to learn. And can I do an internship? And they were they were one of the companies that allowed me to come. And each year during my studies, I was very fortunate to be able to go back each summer, and to do a summer job there, and which was really nice that I had an insight in the more commercial worlds by doing the internship there every summer. And then at school, it was more artistically, was very artistically driven. So I had a taste of both worlds, which was very nice. And I will show you now my first animation short that I made during my studies. It's called I Like Birds, and it's just a 1 minute short. So. Okay, so this short, everything was painted on paper. Like I said, the school, it's very traditional. You learn not only to work on computer, but a lot of it is on paper. If you want, you're able to discover what you like to do. And so this was my second year film, and when I graduated, I made film called Homemade. I will show just an image of that. There you go. So it was a short about humans being used as appliances in the kitchen. It was a bit abstract, and looking back at it, it's not exactly the kind of story that I wanted to say, but I learned a lot from doing it, because it made me realize how much after that I wanted to focus on story more, and really have like stories from A to Z that have a goal, and this short was I'm still unable to say what it is about, actually. And I don't want to have that about my work. That's what I decided, what I learned from doing that short. So I graduated in 2011, and I was very fortunate that despite me not being absolutely crazy about my own film, I did send it to festivals here and there, and it did get selected into a few festivals, which was really nice, because of that I got to travel to festivals as well, and I discovered my love for festivals, which will be something that comes back during the presentation, how much I love it. And even though I graduated, I never stopped learning. For me, I really like doing I still do workshops and trainings, because it helps me grow as a director and as a creative person. So throughout the talk, I will also mention like different trainings that I've done that were connected to certain projects. So graduating in 2011, then now what? You don't know exactly what should I do and where to go from here. And the first thing I did was actually a residency. I was very fortunate to get selected for this residency called 5 sur 5, and it's a documentary residency. It's for a festival that unfortunately no longer exists, and it's a festival that took place here in Belgium. And in 5 weeks' times, you had to make a complete documentary, so a 10-minute short. And it was the first time that I really had a team, because making a short in 5 weeks' time, you really need to get a team around you, because you can't do it all by yourself. And I had someone for the sound, but I also had a cameraman, I had an assistant, I had someone to help me with the editing. And it was a really interesting experience to step up and be a director and guide people into your vision. I also have some images of that. This was what the story was about. This is actually an abandoned factory in the city. They used to make all of these pottery, like you can see here, and I made a story about how the impact was on the factory, on the town, because the town was built around the factory, but then the factory they were going to relocate for economical reasons. They were going to relocate the factory, but because it was the starting point of the whole town, it had a big impact on the people there. And for this short, I combined like live action documentary footage, interviews of the people living in the town, and I combined it with like stop motion of the different objects, so you could see like the broken pottery come to life in the factory. So I finished that in 2011, and then there was this open call in 2012, an application for a project called 12 Minutes About Peace. It was an open call from the Flemish audiovisual funding. So in Belgium you have Wallonia and Flanders has its own funding body where I can apply for funding, and they had this initiative. They were looking for 12 one-minute short films around the theme of peace, because they wanted to launch those short films in 2014, as it was 100 years after the war. They wanted to celebrate peace with 12 animated shorts that would also be working together with writers. So writers would be inspired by the short films, and they would write poems about the short films. And I can also show you that short film. It's called Child's Play. Yeah, so I co-directed that short film with my boyfriend at the time, Bert. So we came up with the idea and the story together, and the production was done with Vivi Film, a company that at the time was working together with Creative Conspiracy, the company where I had already done that internship and summer jobs all those summers. Um, so yeah, I pitched it to Creative Conspiracy, this idea, and they were happy to come on board and to yeah to enter this open call from the Flemish funding, and the project got selected. So yeah, this project was was made at Creative Conspiracy because I had already had had this connection with them doing the internship there the years before. So that project, it was finished in 2014, and it was screened in national theaters even, because that was the collaboration that was set up from the Flemish funding. So it was really nice to like be such a young professional and already have like this piece of work that is already being shown to a big audience. Um, so that was very excited, and I was definitely very enthusiastic to go and work on my very first own professional film, which will turn into Catherine. So in 2013, I got selected to do this development atelier. So it's this training that is organized again by the Flemish Film Funding, and it's especially for young creatives who have just graduated. And it's if you don't already have a producer involved, but you just have an idea, you can get this training, and you get some workshops doing it, and you also get a mentor. So it's a very, very nice initiative. And I have to say, the first time that I applied, I got rejected, but I didn't give up. And I was like, okay, I got feedback from the jury about my initial proposal, and I took that to heart. And yeah, and I went and developed the idea a bit further and applied again, and then I got selected. And the the core idea that I was thinking about was feeling at home somewhere, and the feeling of belonging, and what it means to you. And I had made all of these drawings of like this. I think this is one of the first original drawings that I made during the development of the idea. So here it says huisdier, which is the Dutch word for pets, and it's a house animal. So I made like all of these drawings of house animals, like lots and different shapes and sizes of house animals, apartments. So and yeah, for people who have seen Catherine already, might recognize that there is a scene at one point in the movie where you have like a gigantic cat, and the head of the cat changes into a house, and then the main character Catherine, she goes into the house. And so that scene was for me like the starting point of the whole story, and embodies the feeling that I wanted to portray in the short. So like I said, with this atelier that I did from the Flemish funding, I was also given the opportunity to get a mentor on board, and I was very lucky that they agreed to ask Julia Pott to help me out. So yeah, during a few months, she helped me a lot thinking about the idea, and I was really it was really during the the beginning process, the development of the short, that I was able to talk to her about the character design and about the story, and yeah, all of these different things. I have some, like, an old sketchbook as well of the, like, old drawings where you can, some things are still, I mean, ended up in the final film, but some things of course got cut out. So this is like an early sketch of what ends up in the movie, the scene with the big cat and the little girl. Yeah, some more cats, like small character sketches. Yeah, figuring out the character, and at the same time developing the story a bit. Kind of like the different ages that you have of Catherine in the movie. So when I finished doing this atelier workshop, then I went to pitch my idea at Creative Conspiracy. Again, it's a studio. I already knew the people. I liked working with them, so it felt quite natural to go to them and propose my idea. And yeah, they were very happy to join me, and we applied for funding from again, from the audiovisual funding. You can ask for very different types of funding depending on how developed your project is. You can ask for development funding, or you can ask for production funding. So at first we got development funding, and we were able to go and create some more stuff. I will show you some more elements of the research. Dum-dum-dum. So this is like a very old drawing that was in one of the first application files before I had done any research on the character yet. And this is already like the character becoming more clear. But it's, yeah, researching the style, the amount of details, researching the colors. The colors are very important for me in the story, and I really try to find a way that the colors could enhance the story and vice versa. So it was something that I was very aware of during the development. But as you can see, it's definitely not how it ends up in the final film. So here you can see she had an even bigger collection of stuffed cats. Again, some more other colors and some backgrounds. Again, like, it's very rough, just finding the color blocking and testing things out. I can be, I don't always have the patience to do everything very detailed and clean. So at that point, it's good for me to get other people involved. Again, here's some more artwork, and here just a little part of the storyboard, just to show you what it looks like. But I mean, of this, I also had like lots of versions that were much rougher and just sketches without colors. And this was really a colored storyboard to send to the Flemish audiovisual funding to get funding, and to make it as pretty as possible and make it as clear as possible. We added some color here and there, to try and make it, to try and convince them to give us a funding for the project. And I also have like a tiny GIF, like number 510, please. It's just also a very small animation test. It's a little thing that got cut out of the cut out of the story actually, because it would have such a big impact on the animation. You have all the teddy bears lying there and everything would have to move, and it was like maybe a bit too high intense on the for animation and budget wise. So and it wasn't adding that much to the story, so we decided to cut it out. I'll also show you a bit of the animatic, and it's very rough. I don't know if it has already started because okay.
Kitty? You're back! Don't ever leave me again. And now, I have Kenny. And this is Benny. Toby. Willie. Dusty. Wally. Gary. And this is Billy.
Don't worry, Catherine. I'll get you a new one.
Oh. Oh no. What will we do? Who will stuff you? Good night, Dwight.
Okay, so the reason I wanted to show this is for several reasons. First of all, it's a alternative ending to the film, and people who have seen the film, will have noticed that it doesn't end, the final film doesn't end like this, and I was really struggling to figure out, okay, what is the good ending for this film? And at one point, when I was developing the project and making the animatic, I got some feedback from someone working at a children's TV channel here in Belgium, and she was like, "Okay, your story and your style, it's actually quite appropriate to children." And I kept this in mind, and that's why I decided to not have an ending that is so dark as the version that you just saw in the animatic. So I didn't want to have any blood or decapitated heads or anything like that. And the animatic was also, as you could see, like super rough. Sometimes there's no eyes. It's like it's very messy, and for me, it's just a tool to yeah to get to know your story better and to figure out what works and what doesn't work, and to see how whether people understand things or not, and to get a sense of the rhythm of the story, and to yeah together with the rhythm to also see if things that you want to be funny, if they are funny, because timing does a lot for humor. uh, and what you also maybe have noticed is that the voices and the sound are also very temporary tracks. The voices, most of it was me, which was not what I wanted the final film to be like. I didn't want to listen to my own voice. So editing the animatic was quite annoying in that, with that in mind, like constantly having to listen to yourself. So in 2015, while I was doing while I was finishing the animatic, I actually, well, after I finished the animatic, I did a road trip in the United States for 3 months, and I had in mind like, okay, I really want to have original English speaking voices for the short, and so I thought to myself, okay, let's try and find people and do a recording while I'm doing this road trip. If it doesn't work out, I will figure it out afterwards. But at the end of the road trip, I managed to, find a studio and find some really great voice actors. Again, the help of Julia Pott and finding them was, it was because of them that I found the people um, to record all the human voices. So all of the human voices are done by one woman and one man. They did all of the different characters, all of the different ages. And at the end of my road trip, I had these great recordings, and I was able to fly back to Belgium with those recordings on my hard disk. And a few months afterwards, we were able to start the production of the short. So we started in October or something, and the whole production of the animation took around 6 months. But not everyone in the team was working was working those 6 months from beginning to end. So there was a team of 3 animators and 2 assistants. And what we did with the animators was we gave all of them a different age of the character because of the structure of the short film. It was a nice way to divide the work and have like the strength of the animators connected to the animation of the character and the age she was in. And at that time, we had also the music was also being made. And for this, the way I worked, as you could hear on the animatic, I had like reference music. I had throughout the whole animatic, I had reference music that for me embodied the tone and the atmosphere of what I wanted to have at that time. And my musician was really, really great, and he made a completely different score than what the reference was. But it had the right tone and feeling, and he was really great to work with. And then one last thing that we still needed sound-wise was of course the animal voices, because you have a lot of animals in the short film, especially cats, of course. And if you go to a database of sounds, you find a lot of cat noises, but for the story it was very important that it felt like the same cat. It was a character in itself, and it has to be consistent. and the reactions of the cat on what Catherine was doing or saying was very important. So during the research for the right cat sounds, my sound designer actually found a very great YouTube video of a Finnish stand-up comedian as he was doing all of these different animal sounds. So we got in touch with him and we flew him over to Belgium to record all the animal sounds and all of the animal effects in the film. So that was done after the animation was already done. So the voices were done before the animation, but all the animal sounds we did afterwards. And I have also a little video of the stand-up comedian. It's number 530, please.
What up, rockers? My name is Rudy Rock, and I'm a comedian and voice actor. Oh. Ah, damn it. Let's do it again. I'll try.
All right. Then during the production of the short film, I was again doing a training. It's called Animation Sans Frontières, and it's a European animation training. And it's also one of these trainings that I applied for 2 times. I got rejected 2 times, and the third time that I applied, I finally got in, which was actually not the perfect timing because the training would take place during the production of my short film, which is not ideal that as a director you're not able to be there in person during your own production. But because I had already applied so much to do this training, I really wanted to take that opportunity. I'm very glad I did, because I met some really, really great, nice people during that training, and was able to build a nice web network. And one of the people that I met during this training was Luz Grosjean. And at the time, she was just starting her own company, Say Films, for the distribution of short films. And at the moment, she's better known as Miu Distributions because her company became part of that. And as when I met her at the time, I was busy producing Catherine, so it made a lot of sense to talk to her about, like, hey, maybe you can help me out with the distribution of Catherine, which she did. And together with her, I sent the film. We sent the film together to a lot of festivals. So in 2016, I finished the film. So in total, I started with the development atelier in 2013. January 2013, and I finished the film in 2016, and I had the premiere in October 2016. So like 3.5 years was the total process of the film. And the film went around to quite some festivals, over 200, and won around 50 prizes. And I've got some festival images to show. I mean, it was so nice. I was able to travel a lot. I mean, the film traveled, but I was able to travel a lot with it. So I went to Romania, I went to Texas, of course, Belgium, Czech Republic, Finland. And here you can see my cat, Kato, the inspiration for the short film. Yeah, this is a festival in Austria. This is, yeah, the film went to all kinds of places. This is Japan. I also went to Taiwan, Poland, Finland, and it was nice that afterwards I was able to travel as well as a jury member, and I was able to meet a lot of great people. But during those years that I was working on my own project, I didn't only do that. I wasn't working full time on my own short films. In between, I also did a lot of commissioned work, which was animation and illustration. And I also have like some images to show just a variety of projects that I've been working on. Like this, as you can see, not all of the commissioned work was very exciting. I also just drew kitchens because it paid well. Again, more kitchens. But I also drew, lots of other things like birth cards. This is for a children's magazine. Portraits for people. Here I did like the characters, so the graphic design was done by someone else, and I just like did the drawings of the characters. Some more for the city of Ghent. This is for like a care center for the elderly. And some more some more illustrations. So I did like a lot of work like that, but I also work as a production assistant. I gave workshop to kids. I've been a mentor for other people's projects, and I've also done voluntary work. Like I was a volunteer each year at the Kaboom Festival, formerly known as the Click Festival, which is next to Linoleum. Those are the top two festivals for sure. And I also have some commissioned animation to show you. So I have 713, which is just this animated postcard that I drew. There you go. And 720. Yeah, so that was a little festival trailer that I was able to do for the Anibach Festival in Kosovo. And the last commissioned work that I will show you is a short called Hooray for Reading. And it's actually commissioned short that was selected at the Linoleum Festival and won a special mention there last year, I think. So that's 730.
Omdat het ontspannend is. Omdat het inspannend is. Omdat je wilt weten. Omdat je wilt eten. Of diëten. Omdat het je diep raakt. Omdat je niet in slaap geraakt. Omdat het moet. of juist niet mag, omdat je de film zag. Omdat er niets is op tv. Omdat je goed zit op de wc. Omdat ik kan er anders niet aan. Omdat er zulke goede artikels in staan. Omdat je niet kan stoppen. Omdat je wilt beginnen. Omdat je wilt bezinnen. Omdat je het grote geld vervloekt. Of gewoon de juiste woorden zoekt. Zin om meer of weer te gaan lezen? Ontdek wat en waarom duizenden andere lezers lezen op langzullenwelezen.be.
Yeah, and this commission short was to encourage people to read more. It was this platform that they created in Belgium to connect readers to each other. And this commissioned work was actually the advertising agency. As a reference, they had images of Catherine, and they approached the animation studio Creative Conspiracy with the concept for the commercial, and they said like, we know her, so we can get her on board to work on this commercial, which was really nice. That to feel that making your own independent work can also bring new work commercially for me. Now we'll quickly say a last little bit about my new project that I'm working on. I have several projects still in development. One of them is Loose and the Rock, and it's a short about a girl and a rock and how they become friends. So it's like have like lots of little sketches of the two of them, and it's a project that I started developing it during a writing residency at the Studio Enclume here in Brussels, in Belgium. I started doing that in 2017 already, and I pitched this project at the European Short Pitch, which was also a training and a pitching. The European Short Pitch, it's organized by Nissi Massa, and I did it there in 2019. And I participated in that together with my producer Tourister. So they are the production company involved. Show the style of what it looks like. This is So this is kind of the style that we're aiming for with the project. It's for now already been in development for a year and a half, again supported by the Flemish audiovisual funding, and we are currently waiting for news about production funding. So hopefully by the end of this year or the beginning of 2021, we will be able to go into production, but it depends on news about the funding, of course. And another project that I'm working on is again with pets. So I haven't deserted my love for cats and dogs and to tell stories about that. So I'm actually developing a series about pet owners. So I've been drawing like a lot of portraits of people, but I've reversed the roles. So you have giant cats and giant dogs that have tiny humans as pets, to reflect on the fact that we treat our pets often as we often treat them as human, and we humanize them. And I find that I've been making these switched portraits, and this project, all of these reverse portraits are research for the series. And the idea for the stories of the series, I've actually pitched it. I've pitched one story at the script pitch at Interfilm in Berlin in 2018, and I pitched the concept of the series at Cartoon Springboard in 2018, which is a really nice training to for young creators who have an idea for a series or a short, not a short series or a feature. You can't apply with shorts at Cartoon Springboard. But if you're developing series or a feature, it's a great way to get feedback and to show your work and to get to know people. And at the moment, for this project, I just finished again a sort of development workshop organized by the Flemish Film Funding. So they've helped me out a lot during my career, and they've supported me a lot. So I'm very grateful for that. I was able to do that workshop together with a scriptwriter. So currently, me and my producer, we're trying to get partners to come on board for this project and think about the next steps on how we can create this series for adults. And that's it. That's my presentation. So thank you a lot, Linoleum. Thank you a lot, everyone that has been involved in all my projects. Within the last years. There's too many people to name, but thank you all of them. And if anyone has any questions, I'm sure that Anastasia will be able to translate them for me.
Britt, thank you very much for this, for sharing your life path, basically.
I know.
That was really great. I just made some notes for myself as I was following your presentation. First of all, about Catherine. So the production took 6 months, but what about the development? Because it seems you did lots of research before you actually start the production.
Yeah.
How much time it took you in the end? The
development. So I got that atelier in 2013 in January, and the production itself only started in October 2015. So it took like 2.5 years for the development, which is still quite fast. I've been developing my current short longer already.
And you were talking a lot about getting feedback from different people. Is it like, how many times it actually helped you and saved your short or any kind of animation you've done, like after receiving this kind of feedbacks from professional animators or maybe from just your friends? What's the importance of getting those feedbacks for you?
It's important for me because it's more like it's not necessarily that you have to apply the feedback that people give, but it's for me like a sort of a compass of what is important to me. If people are saying something and it's like, oh, that doesn't work, and I'm like, yeah, but, and I feel like no, it's gonna work, then for me that's an invitation to how do you say, to convince them that it does work. Like with Catherine, before I had any visuals and I told the story to people, and I said like, it's a story about a young girl and all of her pets die and everyone dies, and they were like, oh, that's a sad story. And I was like, no, it's gonna be a funny story. And they were like, no, it's not. It doesn't sound like a funny story. So if someone's feedback doesn't line up with my vision of the project, for me that's like an alarm going off, like, okay, I have to it's an invitation to make that part stronger, and to be able to to make it more clear for everyone if it's important to me. At the same time, if I show something to someone and they think it sucks and I'm like, yeah, it sucks, then I also know like, okay, then I better just cut it out. And if they agree with me, then it just gives energy, like, okay, this is something that's really good, and it's also it's also good to know that you don't lose it during the process, because you're constantly like shifting your story and changing your animatic, and sometimes you could cut something out because something that you thought was good, but you've seen it like 100 times, so you don't even realize it's good anymore. So getting feedback from people and hearing like, oh, this is fun, it can help you to keep it there. It's like sometimes you need to get this confirmation that something works, because you see it like so many times and you at one point you don't see anymore if it works or not. You just don't. Yeah.
Yeah, true, true. Okay, we have a couple of questions here. The first one from Tunda. How do you decide whether an idea is worth making it into an actual film, since a film takes years of your life and it's a pretty big decision?
I think by not being too conscious that it will take so much time, because if you realize that it will stick with you for so long, you might not. No, that's not a completely true answer. It's actually because if you're still enthusiastic about it after so many working on it for so long, then you know it's interesting. So I think that's an important way to figure out if an idea is good. I personally, I have like a lot of ideas in a shelf somewhere, and if they keep coming back, and if every time I look at them, I'm still enthusiastic, and I still have like this energy to work on it, and I still like it, then that's for me like a way to know that it's interesting, because animation is such a long process. You have to keep that enthusiasm for such a long time.
And another question from Aaron. I love the Pet Lover series idea, and I have a question about shorts. Will you always work with a distribution company now? In your case, it's Miu. Or for the next film, you'll be submitting to festivals yourself?
I think that's it's too soon to be able to say now. I think it depends on the end product of the film, and if it matches the distributor as well. Because I mean, for example, I love working with Luz, but I can also imagine that if I would have a finished film and she would be like, okay, this doesn't fit into my catalog, then I totally understand that. And the same for my side. It's so it really depends on the project and on the situation. But it's nice to not do it alone, for sure, because it's so much work. And the whole process of animation, it's like it's more fun if you get to share it, and that's valid for the development, but it's also valid for the production and for the distribution. If you can get more people to share it, then it's stronger, it's better for your project. So I hope to work with a distributor, but let's wait and see about the details. I don't know yet. I still have to produce the short, so step by step.
Okay, one final question is about funding. You mentioned that you are developing right now 2 TV series, right? But
One.
you mentioned only one. But you mentioned that the funding you get comes from the government, right? It's not a private funding or anything like that.
No.
So what about TV channels or anything, or maybe streaming platforms? Have you tried to pitch your TV series to them?
Yeah, that's currently the next step that we have to do for this, specifically for this series ID. because the development that I did for this series, it's a special workshop, and for that you didn't need to have like a broadcaster or TV channel on board yet. But for other funding for series, you have to have a TV channel or broadcaster on board in Belgium. So we need to go and have those conversations and figure out and hope that someone is willing to step into
Okay, there's another question.
go along with it.
From Daniel. Hi, great presentation. I was wondering where you see yourself as a director in 15 years. Is a full feature something you consider?
For me, that definitely connects to the idea. I mean, if I would have an idea that makes sense for a feature, yes. But at the moment, well, in 15 years, I hope that I would have the series. That would be nice. That would be a nice goal. Because currently it's like it's a 10 episodes of around 20 minutes. So like that's more than a feature minute-wise. So it feels a bit daunting for sure. But yeah, a feature. Who knows if an idea that comes up, why not? But currently, I don't have anything in line for myself for a feature. I do have an idea for like a TV special, like a 30 minutes. So it's almost.
All right. Thank you, Britt, very much for being here. I mean there, but virtually here. I hope that one day we will meet again offline finally.
Yes.